Bet from BettesMakes, and today we are going to be making 3 different types of sunflowers. And those sunflowers will include one made with tissue paper, such as this one right here. You can see this beautiful tissue paper sunflower. The next one is going to be made with either cardstock or with bond paper. So you'll have a choice and a different kind of stamen for each. So that's number 2. And the third one is going to be made with crepe paper. So we're also going to learn how to do this one as well. Now, before we get going, one last request that I have for you. Can you please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is down here. Just click on that subscribe button. And finally, you will also find in the description the place where you can download the free templates for this particular project. So let's get going and let's have some fun. Alright, it's time to make a third sunflower. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this. One is using cardstock. Looks somewhat like this. And then I also made another one using bond paper. Now you can go either way with them. If you have the bond paper 8.5 by 11, that works perfectly. That's the one we'll demonstrate today. The one with cardstock I actually cut with my Cricut maker. So I had cut a number of petals using the Cricut maker. Same method, once your petals are cut and once you have your circle on the bottom for gluing, you're ready to go. It doesn't make any difference. So what we're going to do right now, I'm just going to move my 2 flowers out of the way here, is we are going to make our sunflower using the bond paper. Now what I did is I simply traced one of the leaves like this, and this is what I'm going to use as my template. On BettesMakes.com on the library, you're going to find the template with the number of cuts you need from the Cricut, including the circle. Now I did circles in 3 different sizes here. I have this unique tool, and this is a Fiskars tool, and it's a circle cutter. And it's really interesting because I can set how I want the circle to be and the size using these little measurements here, and then I just simply hold the paper down and I twirl this around and it does a cut. So I did a larger cut, the same size cut as we have on my other 2 flowers, and I did a smaller cut. So you'd be able to do circles like crazy with this particular tool. If you don't have one of these, I got this one at Joann's, and I think I used a bunch of coupons. I think I paid $6 for it. It's just absolutely an incredible tool. I'll put that aside for now. I am going to use the center one here. This is the one that's on the template on my website, and we will eliminate those 2 circles for now because we're not going to use them. The other thing you're going to need is 4 sheets of bond paper. Now I have a yellow bond paper. I bought this at Walmart, and you can buy a stack of papers, all different colors at Walmart. This one contained a yellow. We're going to use 4 sheets of that. We don't need our floral tape this time, but we do need to use our burnishing tool, and you might want to consider a ruler. You will definitely need a dowel or a pencil for curling the leaves. As you'll notice, each of the leaves that I had in both of these projects, the leaves are curled. I did that with this dowel. A pencil or a pen to do the tracing of this. Let's put those aside for now. And we are pretty well ready to go. We don't need these leaves right now because we're not going to do the cardstock one, but you can do it and you can use your Cricut machine. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 4 sheets of this bond paper. We are going to fold it, and we're going to fold it in half this way. Make sure you burnish it down. You want something nice and crisp so when you're cutting it's a lot easier. And then we're going to fold it again the other way, burnish it the best you can. It won't be perfectly straight. Next, you just want to lie this on top and trace 3 of them. This means you're going to have enough leaves. You may even have some left over in order to do our flower. So first things first, after you've got everything folded and through, we're simply going to cut out our leaves, and do not worry if they are not perfect. And the reason you don't need to worry about it is because the sunflower is not perfect and you want to make this look so personal. So we're going to have a lot of leaves to play with, petals to play with here. We are not adding any leaves to it, but just the petals. And make sure you use paper cutting scissors because you don't want to ruin your fabric scissors doing this by any means. So if your family's using this, put the fabric scissors away and start using just some regular scissors. You can buy scissors at the dollar store that work just wonderfully. You don't have to have expensive scissors. Okay, we have all the petals we need. We'll just throw our scrap here. Now, next job on our list is going to be curling the leaves. Now you have to do this one at a time or several at a time. All you want to do here is just grab the edge, have it roll under. I'm going to give it a pretty tight curl, and it will relax. You can do a couple at a time if you want. Apart. So just 1, 2, 3. Just grab a handful. You'll probably get about 4 at a time. And the curl is just to make it look really nice and realistic. Didn't get much of a curl. I'm going to have to curl them a little bit more. 2 at a time seems to work, but more than that seems to create a problem. Okay, we're going to come right back when we have all of these curled, and we'll get on to the next step of the process. Alright, we have all of our leaves, our petals folded and curled up. We're ready to start. I want you to take your circle and just sort of hand draw 2 circles inside. These are going to be guidelines for when we glue on the petals. So our next step here is to glue the petals. What I generally do is I just put glue all the way around the edge here, inside that one circle. And then we'll be adding some more as we add the petal. And the reason I wanted that line in there is because I want the petals to stick right on the edge. Now we do have a lot of petals here. We have between 30 and 40. So right now all I'm going to do is place them beside each other. I am not going to overlap them. If I overlap them, then the process adding the other leaves doesn't work as well. So it's just a matter of adding the leaves as you go around. Try to stick near the edge of that circle. Because we're going to be adding a lot more here, it's much easier to do it this way. Now we don't have to have just 1 or 2 or 3 layers. You can add as many as you want. This process is actually not that bad. As close as possible. You don't have to have them touching. Let's see, this one I'm going to have a little spacer. It's actually quite easy. I'm going to love this little project because it's so fun. Kids can do it as well. And these are beautiful when you hang them up on the wall. There, we have our first round done. Now the next round of leaves, we are going to actually glue on top of this area just around the edge, and some of these are going to overlap, so we're going to need a little more glue as we go around. So we're just going to put it just on the edge here. For our next round, now we've got plenty of petals, so there's no problem. The goal here is to go in between the two petals, so you're looking like this, right into the middle. This is where I was saying you may need some extra glue. What I'm going to do, just keep adding them in between. Just going over the edge here. So just look for the divider here. So where you see this, this is where you'll put a petal. It builds up pretty quickly. Go. Don't glue your hands in. Almost there on the second round. 2 more to go here. It was drying up a little bit on me, and 1 more to go for the second round. Now the process is pretty simple. We know we have enough for our next round, so we're going to pull the next round down a little further. You see how the circle guidelines really help. Now you want to go in between again, but you're bringing it out to this circle line as much as possible. This is where they start overlapping each other a little more. One in here. Turn it a little bit. As you can see, we're getting it quite full. I think we're going to have enough petals here to do a 4th round, which will make it just absolutely gorgeous. I just love doing crafts with you. Makes it so much fun. Alright, so now I've got quite a few in here, and we do have 8 or 9 extras here, so I am going to go 1 more round. And we don't worry about the extra round because we're going to be putting our stamen in the middle, and we're going to have fun creating this stamen. Once again, we'll start in the middle, just push it in just a little bit. This time I'm not worried too much about where the bend goes. I'm just trying to get them together here. Don't want to have to cut any more. Okay, edge here. Wow, this is turning out fabulous. I actually have 1 left over. That's perfect. Now, as you can see, we have a perfect little sunflower. All we need to do is add the center now. Now I'm just going to let this dry a little bit. Now I've been experimenting with centers. Now don't laugh, but this is a little pumice ball that I found at a dollar store, and I thought, oh, that's perfect, but I found what it was too rounded. It didn't really represent a sunflower as well as I wanted it to. I also, when I did the cardboard one, or the cardstock one, I experimented in how to use the tissue paper in the center, even though this is a little more realistic. I found a 3rd method, which I'm going to teach you today, and I haven't actually used it yet. But I've got a piece of paper here. These are actually 3 pieces of tissue paper measuring 8 inches by 5.5 inches. You can make it any size you want. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go back and forth, and I'm going to fold it on lengthwise. You can see I was experimenting with some of the folds. Because what happens with the sunflower, they're very short and very seed-like in the center. They're not round like most stamens would be, because it is a seed pod more than anything. So I'm just trying to fold these back and forth until we hit it just like this. Now, this is the fun part, because we will be rolling this. But before we roll it, we have to make the other parts. There's my scissors here. We're going to do some thin cuts. This is to represent the seed part. And we'll just do quite a few of these. I'm using too much paper lately. Now these are pretty thin cuts. You can make them thinner than I'm making them if you wish. This is going to make a really beautiful center. It is tissue paper, so it's easier to cut than most. You have to remember, I haven't done this one before. I've been experimenting around with different centers and the way I like them. I like the tissue paper center, but I wasn't quite pleased with the final outcome of it. This should make a big difference. So we're going to get more of a fringe style. Now if you have people also use shredded paper and they paint it and then glue it in place, that is quite effective as well. This one's going to be a simplistic one because all you need is your scissor skills here. Don't have to be painting. We will be gluing it in place. I'm almost done here. Try to cut a little faster. It seems there's more than what you figured. There we go. Now you see we have a nice ruffled effect. But what I want to do now is I want to start to roll it together. I'm going to glue it together. Now there's 3 pieces of paper, so all I'm going to do is just add a little glue here. So when we roll it together, it kind of sticks. So let's start on one end. Don't have to roll it too tightly. And roll quite loosely. And keep our edges out. Don't want to have it really thick and dense on the roll here because we are going to add some pieces to it. A little bit more glue here. Don't worry about the glue so much because it does dry clear. I always manage to stick my fingers more than anything else. There we go. A little bit more. Okay, perfect. I am going to add a little more glue right here at the end. And I'm going to add some in the center just so it stays together. There we go. I am going to place this in the center, and when this dries, this is going to be absolutely cute. got more glue on me than anything else. Now you may want to make this a little larger so you can add some extra pieces. But this is the general idea. You can push this out closer here. And it looks more like a seed area than it does with this other round one that I had done. Now we're going to try and do a little bit more here. We can add some extra black paper around the edges, so this would be a tissue paper. And you know, you can do a lot of different things with it. We're not going to add any more right now, but this is my smaller one. So now you can pull these in so you have more of that sunflower look. And here we are with our finished product. So that's it for today's project. I do hope you enjoyed making those 3 different types of sunflowers. I know I did. And once you have those in place, you can decide to make multiple ones, make a wall hanging with the larger one. I could see multiple ones of these hanging up around the wall. And that'll make a beautiful backdrop or a decoration for any event. My other favorite one, of course, was this one with the crepe paper, and that would fit really well into a vase full of different sunflowers. And finally, another wall hanging style, this one with the cardstock and a tissue paper center. Those were so much fun to do as well. Now, just remember, you can go to my resource library at BettesMakes.com/library, and you'll find the templates for this particular project and all the other projects that I've put forward. And one very last request, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this YouTube channel so we can bring you more fun crafts. Until next time, happy crafting.